So for my week 5, I am doing grade 10. The topic is How Enlightenment Ideas Sparked Revolutions and Shaped Modern Governments by Michael Howe. So why alignment matters in UBD. So UBD is all about backward design. So starting with what we want kids to understand and then use long term. So stage 1, which is big goals, enduring understandings, essential questions, and transfer. Stage 2 is proof they get it, real assessments and not just quizzes. And stage 3 is how we get there. So purposeful lessons and activities. And when these line up, everything clicks, kids connect ideas and apply them, and they remember beyond just the test. So walking through the UBD Design Standards Checklist. So the strengths are clear, desired results in stage 1. My enduring understanding is that Enlightenment ideas like natural rights and separation of powers drove big revolutions and still influence governments today. Good alignment. So stage 1, big ideas feed straight into my performance task in stage 2 and the sequence in stage 3. So logical flow with basics. So Enlightenment thinkers move to comparing revolutions, so American French and even Haitian, and end with applying to modern protests. So some real world relevance and choice built in for transfer. And this met many standards on clarity, focus on understanding, over coverage, and ongoing checks. Checklist areas that are solid versus still developing. So easy wins. So essential questions are sharp and open-ended. Example would be, how do ideas spark change? What do some revolutions succeed while others don't? Regular formative assessment so we can see progress. Stage 3 has purpose and no filler activities. And tougher ones that I'm not fully there on yet is capturing all 6 facets of understanding in assessments. So I do well on the explain apply, but I feel like I do need some more on perspective and empathy, like seeing why people in different revolutions felt justified. And variety in evidence, not too much recall, and more deep application and self-assessment. So differentiation, I have some, but I want ways to challenge advanced kids while still being able to support others without dropping the rigor of it. So the biggest changes I've made so far is started with backward design instead of listing activities first. Added transfer goals up front. So I think students should be able to use Enlightenment ideas to analyze current events. And I switched to authentic assessment with graphs instead of standard essays and tests. And I used the where to plan key lessons so they're engaging and tied to goals. I built in more checks for understanding along the way, not just at the end. And these changes made the unit feel way more intentional and less like covering the chapter. My graphs authentic assessment example. So a goal is to prove Enlightenment ideas use revolutions and still matter for today's changes. Role is your historical analysis, advising people in crisis. Audience is citizen or leaders with big protests for rights, democracy. Situation, protests happening now, echoing the revolutions we've studied. Product, advisory report, slideshows or videos explaining key ideas, comparing 2 revolutions, like for example the American and French, and look at success/failures and apply them to lessons today. So the rubric would be checks for accuracy, evidence, strong comparisons, clear modern links, good communication that hits transfer and multiple facets, way better evidence than multiple choice. So my where to learning experience example is W, remind everyone of essential questions, and the final task shows how it all connects. H, kick off with current protest clips, new stories to hook them. E, give organizers sources from before, model how to apply ideas. R, draft in small groups, swap peer feedback, revise with rubric, self-reflection. E, quick drafts, feedback forums, reflections to see transfers happening. T, flexible groups, sentence starters, bilingual support, choice in format. O, workshop style draft, feedback, revise, prep for final. Where to keeps things focused, student-centered, and aligned. And what I'll improve on next. So in week 6, really dig into different, more varied scaffolds, extension options, ways to meet different readiness without lowering expectations that I want. So, and then I would kind of beef up in stage 2 with more perspective, empathy tasks, maybe role plays or viewpoint shifts, and deeper self-assessment so students track their own growth toward transfer, and then polish everything for week 7 submission. And thank you, Professor. That is my week 5 presentation today. Have a good day.